Hey, it's Jerry Norton. Welcome back to my YouTube channel where we talk about all things real estate, specifically wholesaling and flipping. I've been doing this now for 20 years, and one of the most effective ways to generate leads and get deals in real estate is through a technique called cold calling. Now, the problem with cold calling is nobody likes it. It's really hard. It's not fun at all. And most people find a way to avoid it at all costs, right? So if you do not like cold calling or the idea of cold calling, this video is for you. Because what I want to do is I want to show you how to outsource cold calling. But let's start from the beginning here. Why is cold calling one of the most popular techniques for finding and generating leads and deals in wholesale real estate? The reason why is because it's very inexpensive. In fact, it's one of the most inexpensive methods to get deals in real estate. And so let's walk through a little bit about this process. So what's gonna happen here is if you're considering cold calling or you're gonna do this marketing channel, is first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna pull a list. Now, the very best place to get a list is Propwire because it's absolutely free. If you go to propwire.com, then you can put in a city, state, zip code, and then you can say, okay, I've got my area. Now I'm gonna do a drop down of lead types and I'm gonna pick one of several different leads that I'm interested in. So it could be absentee owners, it could be tired landlords, out of state, pre-foreclosure, probate, all the different types of leads, vacant properties, and so on and so on. So you can pick them, you can stack them. So if you click multiple leads, it will combine those as filters and you're gonna generate this list. Now this list is what we would consider motivated sellers because the list is generating some type of potential or possible distress that's going on. Like for example, a pre-foreclosure, that should be somebody probably distressed and maybe interested in a cash offer. Okay, so we're gonna pull this list. Again, you can search and download as many properties as you want on Propwire, 157 million records nationwide, and absolutely free. No subscription, no data upsells. You can do it all the way for free. There are some premium leads on there that we actually have to go to the county courthouse to get. Those, there is a cost to those just because we have to spend a lot of extra money manually, in a lot of cases, manually getting those leads. But it's really cool. You can go to premium leads and you'll see those on there. There's a really low subscription to get those. And those are great because they're harder to get. The harder something is to get, the more valuable. So I would highly recommend that and check those out. But what you're gonna do is you're gonna pull that list. Okay, once you generate your list, the next thing you need to do is skip trace the list. And the skip trace is really just getting the phone number. So you're gonna get the phone numbers for that list. Now what's cool is in Propwire, you can do it right there. You just click a button, boom, it'll skip trace all the lists you created. It's very inexpensive. There's some plans you can do where you get 2,500 skip traces for like $97 a month and cost you almost nothing to get the skip tracing done. There is a nominal cost to it, but it's all built right in. You can download and skip the list. It's really great. So do that as well right in Propwire. There's other skip tracing services out there, but step 2 is gonna be to get the phone numbers. And then step 3, obviously, is you're gonna then cold call that list. You have to pick up the phone and you gotta cold call these leads. Now, why do people hate cold calling? Because you're randomly outbounding a list of people that you pulled, right? So you're gonna pick up the phone and say, hey, you own a property on 123 Main Street. Are you interested in selling? Click to hang up. So that's gonna be normal. It's gonna be very common. You're gonna go through a lot of that. People who do cold calling like this, they'll spend hours and hours and no one answers, wrong numbers, or they're mad, they F-bomb you, they're not interested. So it tends to wear people out very quickly. And it's actually a very bad use of time. And here's why. You can hire cold callers for very inexpensive. In fact, I use a company that I really like. They're called Run It Remote. They actually have some really cool promo plans that they give my subscribers and followers. I'll put a link in the description, but it's $6 an hour. That means for a 40-hour week, for 1 month, it's gonna cost you about $1,200 roughly. For a 40-hour a week, full-time cold caller that you pull the list, you skip trace it, you hand that cold caller that list, and they call all day long for 40 hours a week for only $1,200. Now here's the thing. What we're finding right now, and this is as of this recording, things change, but as of this recording, one cold caller full-time, it costs you again, $1,200 a month, they're gonna generate 1 to 2 leads a day. Now, that's not every single day. That's not always that case, but on average, about 1 to 2 leads a day. And these are what would be a lead in this scenario here? A lead would be simply somebody that says, yes, I'm interested in looking at a cash offer. Yes, I would entertain an offer to sell my property. Doesn't mean they're motivated, doesn't mean they'll take a deal, doesn't mean anything, just that they raised their hand and said, I would have a conversation about this. So that's when I say 1 to 2 leads a day, that's all I mean by that. Okay, so this is important because that cold caller who's on the phone 8 hours a day is going to get 1 or 2 people that say that. So let me ask you a question. Do you want to spend 8 hours a day to get 1 or 2 people that say, yes, I would entertain an offer? Is that a good use of your time? Not unless you think you're worth $6 an hour. If you're worth $6 an hour, then go ahead and do your own cold calling. I highly suspect, though, that you're worth more than $6 an hour. So hire an agency. These are overseas. They're trained. I like running remote because they have a verification process. They listen to the call. They double check. They make sure that it is a lead that wants to sell before it gets to you. So they're going to generate that lead. I think this actually comes to maybe if you add up like skip tracing, and there's also a dialer there that comes included for that cold caller. And you got to commit to a month, so you can't just do an hour here or there. So I would plan on maybe $1,300 or so. I think it's $1,370, something like that is going to get you 1 cold caller with the list, skip trace, and a dialer, something like that. So it's very inexpensive in the scheme of things because here's why. You're going to get 1 or 2 leads a day. Let's just hypothetically say that that's going to equal 50 in 1 month. 50 leads in a month. Well, here's what's cool. Right now, our ratios are that we're getting 1 deal per 50 leads. So 1 and 50 close ratio, 1 and 50 close. So if it takes an entire month and I spend $1,200 and they generate 50 leads and I get 1 deal, and that deal is our average on cold call leads is $15,000. If that's a $15,000 deal, wholesale deal, was that worth it? Spending $1,300 in marketing for that cold caller. Now, who talks to the 50 leads? That's you. Now, this is a good use of your time if you're trying to start and run a wholesale business. You talk to the 50, let the $6 an hour cold caller talk to the thousands. They talk to thousands, you talk to 50. Which one are you okay doing? I think you can handle talking to 50 leads. That's 1 or 2 a day to end up getting a deal a month. Now let's reverse engineer this. Let's say you want to get, 5 deals a month. You need 5 full-time cold callers. 5 full-time cold callers paying $1,350 is going to be whatever that is, $6,000 or $7,000, and you're going to get $75,000 or whatever in revenue. You're going to be doing quite a bit of revenue if you're getting 1 deal per month per cold caller at these ratios. Okay, now is this an exact science? No, it's not, because there's an X factor, how good are you at closing? What market are you in? All the different things. So as a general rule, this is what you're aiming for. Okay, so high level again, cold caller. You hire this out. Go to Run It Remote. I'll give you a link in the description to hire a cold caller. It's a great service, great deal. You can get that, hire that cold caller. You're gonna pay $1,370. They're gonna generate 1 to 2 leads a day. That's gonna equal, let's say, 50 a month. You're gonna call all 50 of those leads. You're gonna close 1 out of those 50 for a $15,000 wholesale contract. Boom, you're in business. Why would you ever do the cold calling yourself? Bad use of time, hire that out. But still consider cold calling. Now, a lot of people are saying that cold calling's dead. Cold calling doesn't work. I actually like it when I hear that, because if that gets out and a lot of people buy into that, less people are doing it, which means these lists become more valuable because not as many people are cold calling them. So whenever somebody says something doesn't work, I double down in that thing. Direct mail doesn't work. Guess what I'm doing? Direct mail. Cold calling doesn't work. Guess what I'm doing? Cold calling. To a certain extent, the data will say, and certainly there's some truth to that. It is true that our revenue has gone down significantly in cold calling, meaning it doesn't work as well today as it used to work. But that doesn't mean it doesn't work. It just means now that I got to do, 1 in 50. And if that goes up to 1 in 100, it still makes sense, because I'm always looking at my cost per contract. And if I can spend anywhere from, in this case, if I'm spending $1,200, $1,300 to get a $15,000 contract, that's a good return on investment. I'll do that again and again, over and over. That makes sense to spend that money to generate that type of revenue. And even if that was a little higher, it would still make sense. See what I mean? So when people say it doesn't work, what they're really saying is it doesn't work as good as it used to, or there are other marketing channels that have come into the scene, like paper leads, right? That's an agency that generates the leads for you. PPC, pay-per-click, which is an agency that does Google ads for you. So there's other things that maybe are working better or get better turn rates and get better assignment fees and all of that. But don't misunderstand and think that cold calling doesn't work. It certainly does work if you work and you do it. Okay, so again, check out Run It Remote. I think that's gonna be a great resource for you. And let me know how that goes. And by the way, guys, I give away my cold calling scripts for how to do the cold calling. I'll give those to you for free. Put the link in the description below for you, and I'll see you on the next video.